Stars in the world of motorsports getting ready to go at it on the virtual platform racing. It's the iRacing Pro Race of Champions Season 2, Edition 2, whatever you want to call it. Tim Terry, Darren Ganji, and Chris Hall here to call all the action for you. And guys, this is going to be exciting. Darren, we got to call this last year. It's two disciplines. It's oval racing in a NASCAR Camping World Truck Series truck. Then we're going to switch gears. We're going to go road racing in a Mazda MX-5. And these stars of racing, from whether it's an oval or it's a straight line like Ron Capps or it's a road racing like Alex Gurney, these guys are going to be put to the test right away. There's 30 plus getting ready to take the green flag here in approximately 20 minutes or so at Iowa.
That's right, Tim, and it's looking to be a great race. We got quite a list of who's who when it comes to real race car drivers. I can't believe Brad Keselowski, NASCAR 2012 Sprint Cup champion, is here. Carl Edwards. Man, I can't believe the list of names that are here tonight.
Guys, well, I've got to say it's great to be here and part of this such a prestigious event. As we say, it's a who's who of motor racing from all over the world. I mean, we've got some great road racers in there, some of them representing Great Britain. We've got Joe Osborne, who's a former FIA GT champion, Richard Westbrook, who's the an Alms driver, another British GT driver, and I know the competition out there is red hot. I saw some of the guys practicing earlier. We've had the trash talk going off on Twitter. Everyone's hyped, everyone's stoked. They can't wait to get this going, especially as there's $2,500 in prize money for the charity of the winner's choice in this race.
And when you look at it, it's $2,500. Last year it was broken down for the top three. There's no podium prize here for charity. It's the winner that gets it. Last year it was Brandon Davis that took away the big crown. And right now, currently, he's in 9th place practicing here at Iowa amongst 30 other drivers that are getting ready to take the green flag. Scott Speed is quick. Timmy Hill is quick. Ryan Preece is quick. Some oval names that are used to racing on this iRacing service. They're here almost every night, plugging it out and getting some laps in. Those guys are going to be fast when we do throw the green flag here in just a few moments' time.
Absolutely, they will be, Tim. And looking also at a guy that's sitting 6th, Shane Van Gisbergen, who was one of the fast guys last year, road racer, sitting 6th here on the oval side. And this is going to be really interesting here at Iowa. No caution flags, 25 laps. So, 30 cars, or trucks, I should say, Chris. This is going to be a pretty hairy start.
Yeah, certainly so. With such a big field, and really it's a relatively small track. So, we've got the guys here who are experienced with the NASCAR experience, their IndyCar experience, and we've got the other guys who normally race in the road cars, and here they are taking it. They're going to duke it out on the oval circuit. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they come through, how they work it, how they're going to work out how their tyres are going to work. Although it's a 20-lap sprint, we're going to see some tussling, some dicing. So it's really going to be a spectacular event today.
And when you look here on this racetrack, you mentioned some of the road guys that are going to be racing. Trevor Hopwood, Bruno Junqueira, Spencer Pumpelly is here for the 2nd year in a row. Matthew Halliday, Ron Capps had a blast with this race last year. He's in here as well, looking to make something happen. You look down the list of guys that are here. Brad Keselowski, and I know me and Matt Racing Kid Thomas talked about it a little bit earlier. He's one of those drivers that used to race back in the Papyrus days, back in the 2K3 days. I remember calling him in DMP back in 2006, 2007, and now he's won that Sprint Cup Series championship. Great to see Brad Keselowski win that here this year. I know Frank Kimmel and Parker Kligerman have been going back and forth, a little bit of smack talk before we came on air. Frank says he's a little bit slower than Parker here, but Parker's a little bit faster at Watkins Glen. And we're going to hear that throughout the night. And the one thing I caught on to, Darren, Scott Speed was fast last night when he was testing. He's still fast here. He's on here nearly every night racing, whether it's a Class C car or racing the Impala Sprint Cup car. He's fast in everything that he gets in. It's going to be exciting here tonight to see what he can do and possibly win this thing. Remember Watkins Glen last year, corner number 1 kind of bit him.
It sure did. Going into that race, he was leading things, or was up top, and then Yeah, it bit him and was taken out early, and I know he's got a chip on his shoulder from last year and definitely wants to come out here and redeem himself. And I've seen him practicing all week. I've seen his name up there hosting sessions, so he is definitely a man on a mission today, leading the charts right now still 22.414, followed by Chad McCumbee with a 22.424. So Chad's looking fast. Timmy Hill also looking fast, so going to be a great race.
Yeah, certainly so. And if I remember correctly now, it was Scott Speed who was looking at the greatest chance of actually taking the first prize. And then when we got to the Watkins Glen race in 2011, he was taken out just after turn 1, and inevitably his race ended. Now I know, going by sweets etc., that he is actually keen to prove a point this evening.
We talk about some of these drivers, guys, that are in here. Let's get a little more in-depth as to who is in this field. We put a little piece together about some of these drivers that will be racing here this evening, not only at Iowa, but also at Watkins Glen. Dale Earnhardt Jr. from Kannapolis, North Carolina, enjoyed a successful 2012 campaign in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Jr. had an average finish of 10.9, the best of his career. Jr. also recorded one win at Michigan in June that ended a winless streak dating back to 2008. He's been racing online for 18 years and is the 6th top-rated oval driver on the service. Brad Keselowski from Rochester Hills, Michigan, won the 2012 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Championship and did it in impressive fashion. He's also a longtime sim racer who enjoyed many of the NASCAR titles by Papyrus before moving to the iRacing platform. Will we see Brad have another intense battle at Watkins Glen tonight? Well, we're going to find out soon. Bruno Junqueira is known for his many years as a Champ Car driver. He had 8 wins in the series and now enjoys competing in the IZOD IndyCar Series and the American Le Mans Series. Bruno has limited iRacing experience, so it will be interesting to see how the Brazilian fares against a stacked field of experienced drivers. Cale Gale is one of the rising stars in the Camping World Truck Series. He won the last race of the 2012 season at Homestead Miami Speedway in dramatic fashion, beating Kyle Busch by just inches. Short tracks like Iowa are Cale's strong suit, however Watkins Glen could be a struggle for the Alabama native. Alex Gurney is a longtime fan favorite of the Grand Am Sports Car Series with 2 overall championships. In 100 career starts, Gurney has an impressive 15 wins and 43 podium finishes. Brandon Davis, an ARCA Series driver and K&N Pro Series driver, shocked everyone last year by pulling off the upset and winning the inaugural iRacing Pro Racer Champions. He finished second in both events, and that was enough to secure the overall title over Martin Plowman. Current NASCAR Sprint Cup Series driver Scott Speed is always a threat to win, regardless of the track. Speed has an experience in all of NASCAR's top 3 divisions and ran the entire 2006 Formula One season. Scott has been using iRacing for many years and is typically found cutting his teeth in the NASCAR Class C Silverado and has 99 career iRacing wins to his name. The Englishman, Martin Plowman, has made several appearances in the IZOD IndyCar Series and is a winner in the Firestone Indy Light Series. Plowman still enters this race as one of the favorites after an impressive 2011 showing. Look for Plowman to be battling up front in both races this evening. Shane Van Gisbergen from Auckland, New Zealand currently drives for Stone Brothers Racing in the V8 Supercar Championship Series. In 66 races, Shane has 2 race wins to his name. Shane will certainly be a threat all night long, especially at Watkins Glen, as he won this race last season by holding off eventual champion Brandon Davis. Carl Edwards from Columbia, Missouri has claimed victory 19 times in the Sprint Cup Series since his first full-time season in 2005 and has finished runner-up twice in the series standings. Edwards is also a nationwide champion, claiming that title in 2007. And we see Carl Edwards in that little piece there. The one thing that really strikes my mind, Darren, is I think it was back 2008 at Kansas where he tried to make the move to win the race. He pitched it into the corner, and he said, I thought it would stick like the video game, and it ended up getting into the fence. I watched Carl during the practice a little bit earlier on, and trying different lines, trying different grooves with his Iowa racetrack, The lower line is the quicker way around this racetrack. Right now, Edwards is at a 22.61. Your fastest driver right now is at a 22.40, a Scott Speed. So he's learning this track. If he can get out of here well, and he runs well at the road courses as well, if he can get a little bit of a grip there at the road course, Carl Edwards might be a dark horse here tonight.
I could definitely see that happen, seeing that, he has definitely done some sim racing in the past and, just understands how, the feel of a sim car is. It is different than a real car because you just don't have that seat of the pants, so you really got to get used to using the sound and using your force feedback and, and using your visual cues to know what that car's doing. So I agree with you there, Tim. I think he's got a great shot. What about you, Chris? Who do you think's got a shot as far as the on the road side goes? You think anybody that maybe some of these European guys may have a shot as a dark horse, maybe even on this oval side?
Well, if you look at the oval times that we're seeing at the moment, there's only 0.3 of a second separating the top 20, so that's amazingly close. So when we get to the roadside, I mean, for a dark horse, I've been watching him practice today. Benny Simonson, he's an FIA GT driver. He has been showing some great pace. On the record, he's actually gone faster than the Giz at Watkins Glen Cup circuit.
Let's see if we can talk to one of these drivers here, and I know when we talk about road racing, I know he's looking for some speed at Watkins Glen, but first let's talk about Iowa. Parker Kligerman, driver in the Camping World Truck Series of the number 7 last season. Parker, what are you feeling out here on this setup at Iowa?
Well, what I'm noticing is we got Scott Speed up there, who's, I guess he probably spent his last 3 years of his life preparing for this race because it's the biggest race he's had in a while. So that shows, and what I'm seeing here with my buddy Frank Kimmel is that we didn't practice, and it shows.
Well, Frankie's up there in position number 8 on the time chart. You're up there in 12th place, so not too bad. It's obviously no cautions here. We're going to go 25 laps. What's the key to getting to the front with no cautions in this race?
I really think, qualifying well will be huge. I mean, track position is going to be really massive, how tight the field is. You can see that, everyone's just in a tenth of each other, really, the 2 tenths. So, super tight. And then also the setup is very tight. And so, protecting your right front, trying to stay off it, trying to get the truck to rotate the best you can throughout the run will be huge to being the truck that finishes first and the truck that probably finishes last.
You mentioned experience in this sim. I know you ran this race last year. Frank ran it last year. You run a lot here on the iRacing service when you're not behind the wheel of your real racing truck. How big is that experience when it comes to a race like this?
Well, I actually haven't ran Iowa in the sim before. It's just one of those weird things where it's been there and I never had a chance to race it. I would say that what you're looking at here with this, sim racing is that you need to know to extract from it. Honestly, you can't pop in your setup for your real truck and expect to go out there and win a race. That's just not going to happen. But what you can extract is how good the tracks are, how you can get your points down, all the little things out there that in real life it takes you a couple practices to pick up on. You can spend in your living room doing on iRacing.
Before we let you go here, Watkins Glen is going to come up next. What are you expecting out of the road course, and can we see you in victory lane after 10 laps at Watkins Glen?
I'm excited about the road course. I think I have a better shot there, surprisingly, even though for some reason I hold the track record at this track in a truck in real life. I don't seem to have the speed on here, but the Mazdas at Watkins Glen I'm really confident about. And I think, your usual characters at the front of this field, front of this race will show who's going to be at the front of that. I think you got, Scott Speed, Josh Wise are going to be really good. But I'm confident on the road course stuff. I really enjoy road course racing and iRacing, and it's definitely very realistic, and hopefully we can run well there.
30 seconds before qualifying. Go get him.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Enjoy the show.
That's PK Parker Kligerman, and he was up in 12th place, now 13th place on the practice charts as he will get ready, as well as the 30-plus others, to go qualifying here this evening at the Iowa Speedway. Darren, final thoughts before we go qualifying here. We talked about some of those road guys, some of the oval guys. One guy I'm really impressed with. How about Richie Stanaway up in position number 4?
Yeah, he's looking really good, and so are a lot of these other guys. I mean, like Chris was mentioning, I can't believe how tight this field is. Scott Speed has shaved another couple tenths. Parker, man, talking some trash there. That was great. But this is going to be a tight field. Turn 1, turn 2, the first lap when these guys are all bunched up, that's really going to tell the tale here. I mean, whoever gets through that clean, hopefully all of them get through that clean and get get to single file and get to some good racing right away, and they all finish. But it's going to be interesting to see.
I certainly have to agree on that front. It's, I mean, I've got to love Parkerman's little dig there at Scott Speed. I mean, hopefully they don't take it out each other on the track, but it's definitely going to be a close run thing for entire race, I think.
Well, it's really a chance for these guys to let it all hang out as we get some qualifying time starting to roll in. Chad McCumbee leading the way with a 22.4. But, it's really a chance for these guys to let it all hang out. They don't have to worry about getting injured. They don't have to worry about sponsors getting upset or car owners. This is, and they're going to be going for it. These guys are going to really be, they're holding grudges from last year still. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens this year and how this all plays out.
Kyle Larson and the rest of these drivers in the racetrack 99 beautifully painted truck, and Kyle currently second on the grid, and he is going to throw away the second lap. 22.46 for Kyle Larson. Currently on the top of the board, it's Chad McCumbee at a 22.44 as we look at the 27 of Trevor Hopwood as he slows down after his qualifying effort at a 23.009. I wonder where Scott Speed is running here in this session. 41 of Speed has already completed his run, and it looks like, guys, he might not have recorded a time 3 laps in. And with iRacing, if you're new to this service, if you're on qualifying and you hit the fence or you have a incident point, then it's not going to count your time. So it looks like Scott Speed may have had a couple of laps with incident points. Did you see another driver hit the wall there, guys?
Yeah, Chris Diamond.
No, sorry there, Darren. I was just going to say, Chris Diamond, the Carrera Cup driver there, just hitting the wall there, which means that's going to wipe his lap time out. He has to run a clean lap to post a qualifying time, so that's going to cost him dearly.
I'm really curious as to what Scott Speed's doing. Like Tim was saying, did he have an incident? So did his lap not count, or did he not want to count a lap so he could start at the back of this pack? Because he did not record a time.
Joey Hand goes out, puts up the 14th fastest time on the board, and Darren, I don't know why he wouldn't want to record a time here, because we're going to have no cautions in this race. A short track race like Iowa, under the lights, it looks beautiful, but it's not going to look beautiful from the cockpit of Scott Speed's car, because he's going to have to work his way to the front of the field. As you watch the 44, Frank Kimmel, he goes to 7th on the board with a 22.54. And I know when he's not racing his real car, guys, he's racing on the Richard Petty driving experience. I got the opportunity to take a couple of laps around with Frankie at Riverside International Speedway. The guy can wheel a race car.
Yeah, no question about it. And he's also done his share of sim racing. He was one of the drivers that was here last year and did well last year. So gonna see what happens with him. Scott Speed is actually disconnected from the server, so hopefully he comes back and he's not having problems. Because obviously he was definitely the fast guy and the guy to beat here. Chad McCumbee still leading the way with a 22.445. Kyle Larson right behind him with a 4.66. So these guys are just about done with qualifying here for Iowa.
That's cool. I got my little guy, my 6-year-old guy. He's my spotter. He's working a computer behind me, watching the mirrors. I need all the help I can get, dude.
Hey, if I could just highlight I must doff my cap there to Joe Osborne, the British driver. He's qualified in 11th there with a 22.628, which I've got to say is a very, very good time for a guy who doesn't normally race on ovals, even on the iRacing service.
There's going to be a couple of surprises, I think, throughout this race. And the one thing, as we mentioned, no cautions. It's keeping your truck clean throughout 25 laps here. Not get into incidents, not get into anybody else's mess. Keep your truck straight, and you'll likely end up with at least a top 10 finish or a top 5 finish. We saw a couple of guys last season get through some of the mess, per se, As we click down the qualifying, the grid's official guys and Chad McCumbee and Kyle Larson will be on your front row. We're going to show you the drivers, where they line up on the screen, so you'll find out where your favorite driver is starting. We're going to lay out here a little bit and listen to some of the audio before these guys roll off 25 laps at the Iowa Speedway.
Yeah, and we're all waiting for some chatter from these drivers, and I think they're all so serious about this race, Tim and Chris, that they are taking this really seriously. These guys are here to race, so they're all lined up on pit road, and they're going to start filing out for that first pace lap.
Yeah, they've probably got their white knuckles gripping that steering wheel really hard, just feeling the sweat beading off their brow, waiting to get away behind the pace car, do their pace laps, and hit the green flag.
My little guy just says, is that Carl Edwards behind you? Tell him that's me. That's good stuff. It's got him fully entertained right now.
You heard a little bit of Joey Hand and Carl Edwards there chatting on the grid before we do go racing here, and these guys will roll off here in about 3 seconds or so.
Mic check. Got ya.
And a couple of these guys making sure that their microphones are working. Alex Gurney, this is exciting. First racing Ford Mustang pace car rolls off. We're 2 laps away from going green.
And it's interesting to see Richie Stanaway up there. He's the Lotus Young driver who's also participating in the iRacing Pro Road Series, looking to get into the World Championship Series. And he's just recently taken 2 wins on the bounce. So his confidence is going to be brimming as they go forward to take this green flag.
And look at Van Gisbergen up there, another road racer, sitting 4th on the grid, 22.479. So Shane looking really good here again for the Pro Race of Champions here on iRacing.
And as these guys get ready to go green, I agree with you guys. I like that second row. Very impressed with Richie Stanaway and Shane Van Gisbergen. Shane races ovals on this sim as well as road, but I'm really impressed with Stanaway. I think he has something to prove here.
And guys, check out the champ.
Is that the real
NASCAR 2012 champion with the green stripe on his bumper, Brad Keselowski, sitting in the, what is he, 3rd row? Green stripe, so he's definitely done his share of iRacing.
And it looks like these guys are getting up close and personal in the pace lap. This is going to be exciting as you ride on board with the champ. Brad Keselowski getting ready to roll off from position number 6. Former DMP racing driver in the 2K3 ranks as he gets ready to flex some of that muscle that he's learned before. The first racing Ford Mustang pace car heads to the infield here. The field is in command of Chad McCumbee as they come up at a 4. Green flag flies, and we are underway with the 2nd annual iRacing Pro Race of Champions.
So far, so good into turn 1, at least up front. Number 15, Timmy Hill, taking a look.
Yeah, Timmy's no stranger to this sim either as he moves underneath the number 33 of Stanaway. Here comes the 8. Oh, big wiggle from Timmy Hill, and he saves it. Great piece of driving.
We got someone spinning down the front straight.
And it looks like it's a car number 3, Peter Dempsey. He's spinning off. Oh, we've got another car in the water. It looks like the 44 car as well.
Kimmel 2. Frank Kimmel 2. Frank Kimmel, too, up at the wall. Oh, man, this is getting ugly. Taylor into the wall. Jordan Taylor.
Ron Capps is also spinning around in the front straightaway here. Peter Dempsey, heavy damage, as we mentioned as well. There's a lot of drivers here in the back that dodged some bullets. Frank Kimmel the second, as well, as we mentioned, heavy damage to that car. As we come up, we complete lap number 3 this time by. It's Chad McCumbee in the lead and being chased by Kyle Larson, Shane Van Gisbergen, Richie Stanaway, and Brad Keselowski.
Well, that certainly was a dramatic opening lap. I mean, we've lost there, what, 3-4 cars involved in incident, but we're seeing McCumbee, he's still leading there, so this is turning out.
Yeah, that hopefully they got the most of the ugliness out of the way. We got Spencer Pumpelly just spun. Some of these guys were able to get back underway. Looking at Adam Burrows right now running at the back of the pack.
Spencer's got major problems here with the 7 guys as he's into the wall on the front straightaway again, and he might roll this thing over here as he gets back on 4 wheels. Here comes the leaders. Pumpelly going to go to the inside. He's having some troubles here early in this event as he tries to blend into traffic with a lot of damage. You see Brad Keselowski there into the number 8 as he works in the top 5 right now.
Right on the bumper of Brandon Davis is right on the bumper of Keselowski as they're battling for that 5th position. Both these guys were able to get away without any trouble. Oh, Keselowski almost into the wall as we're getting word that there was a big wreck on the back straight.
Sorry about that, Josh. I was trying to limp back down.
So guys are still wrecking. The leaders are going to be coming up on some of the lap cars right now, as a matter of fact.
Your leader, guys, in some lap traffic here as Chad McCumbee works underneath. Looks like the number 27 to Trevor Hopwood. Hopwood will go 1 lap down to the leaders as it looks like Kyle Larson is slowly reeling in Chad McCumbee. McCumbee not able to get away a whole lot. This lap traffic might impede the progress of the number 99 as he comes up at a 4. And we got a couple of trucks wrecking here in the front. Was that Shane Van Gisbergen?
I don't know, but there's definitely a few trucks spinning on that front straight. And yeah, that lap car is definitely going to slowing up Larson just a little bit, so McCumbee's able to get you away. But looking at Timmy Hill taking a look here at Davis.
Now the question is he going to make it stick down on that low line? The problem is he could have cooked his right front tyre by now, and as you see, Davis can hold on position by running on that high line.
And that was Alex Gurney and Ron Capps that got together on the front straightaway. And we talk about all these disciplines of motorsports coming together. There's 2 right there. As you see, the 4 underneath the 8, Brandon Davis, the defending champion of this series. Brad Keselowski, the champion of the Sprint Cup Series, go toe-to-toe at a corner number 4. Timmy Hill is there as well in the 15. Great racing at a corner number 4. 10 laps in the books. We are close to being halfway here.
Timmy Hill's eating this up, hoping... Actually getting right behind Davis. They're going to both hopefully go by, or try to go by Keselowski here, as they're coming up on Hopwood, who is a lap truck. He's going to definitely come into this fray any second here.
But Keselowski, he's working that high line really well. Although Davis got underneath him there, Keselowski able to hold that high line, keep the pace going.
4 is going to
Parker
get back
Kligerman
underneath him here, guys, as he looks at the 15 as well. It closes in Parker Kligerman. 4 pitches it in hard into corner number 3. Timmy Hill has to get on the binders on the outside line. Keselowski, as you mentioned there, Chris, he likes this outside line, but as they battle side by side, it's going to close in the guys behind them.
Oh, this is awesome. This is some great racing going on here. They're battling for Brad currently up in 5th. Timmy Hill 6th, Davis 7th, and we're sitting with Parker Kligerman right now, who's come up from he started about mid-pack and is definitely having a good run. We were talking to him before the race, and I asked him if he was if he thought he was a favorite. Taking a look right now on Davis, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that high line is really working. Timmy Hill, he was able to go around the outside of Davis there, make a place up using that high line, and now he's right on the tail of Keselowski. He's looking for that position now. He's looking to take the 5th position.
Just past halfway here is 14 laps completed this time by Keselowski. Gets up close and personal with the wall. Timmy Hill goes underneath in the number 15. And Keselowski going to door him going into corner number 1. Keselowski way up the racetrack. The 4 of Davis gets underneath, and Parker Kligerman is just waiting back there trying to see what's going to happen. Keep in mind, Parker Kligerman used to work for Brad Keselowski, former boss and driver there in the 8 and 26.
Well, as we can see by the blue stripe on the back of Timmy Hill's car there, he's an experienced iRacer, and he's really made that experience tell. He's worked his way up into the top 5 by working that high line.
As we go in car here with Brandon Davis, who's following Keselowski. Now Keselowski down on the low line, taking a look at Timmy Hill, realized that maybe that high line wasn't the way to go, and seeing if the low line has something.
Guys, keep a half eye on this battle for a second as well. Shane Van Gisbergen is all over the back of Kyle Larson and out of the inside of Kyle Larson. 99-97, side by side for position number 2, and this is about 1 second behind Chad McCumbee. As the 97 looked that time by, couldn't complete the pass. Kyle Larson, the K&N East champion, running in second, trying to hold him off.
And Van Gisbergen, who's, we were mentioning, road racer, yellow stripe iRacer as far as his license, so if you're not familiar, taking a look right now, as a matter of fact, for second.
Yeah, and that low line certainly doesn't seem to be working at the moment. Now the tyres are heated up, they're starting to wear down a bit where they've been pushing at the start. It's just not working on the low line. To get past, it seems the high line is the way to go.
Crossover move at a corner number 2, 15 and 8 going at it. Fantastic racing here for Brandon Davis. Looks underneath. Keep in mind, Davis won this race 1 season ago. 26 of Kligerman nearly pitches it in. We nearly saw 3 wide in corners 3 and 4 as Keselowski goes at it again. I don't know how many times Timmy Hill and Brad Keselowski have gone at it for this spot. Oh, contact. 15 up the track.
Oh, and they touched there. You know, this battle is actually making them lose a lot of ground on the leaders. They're now 4 seconds back in the leaders, but these guys are acting like this is the last lap and they're going for the win.
Well, we're just coming up to 5 to go, so really it is now do or die, do or die.
Wow, things happen so fast. You have 5 to go. Timmy Hill, Kligerman touch.
And you have to think with Timmy Hill, guys, he's raced on these ovals for a long while. He was in 5th. He loses those positions. He's back to 8th already, and now he might be back. One more spot is Kligerman going to look underneath him, and that's actually for 7th and 8th right now as they go down into corner number 1. Lap 22 being put on the board, 4 to go.
This is allowing Ryan Preece to get into this battle now. He's running in 9th in the 16th truck. Probably has some fresher tires than these guys, and he is right in on this battle as we go back up front here. Battle for second. Van Gisbergen and Larson.
Oh, and they are door to door there. It's amazing how, I'm not sure if they made contact or not, but that was superb bit of driving. And they're going for it now. Well, we've got 3 laps to go. Amazing.
Keep in mind, guys, Shane Van Gisbergen very strong on the road, as is Chad McCumbee. McCumbee finished 3rd at Watkins Glen last season. 2 to go here. Those 2 might be ones to watch in the next one.
Actually, it's quite amazing how much McCumbee has actually checked out there, really. Look at the lead. He's got over a second lead, and it's only been a 25-lap sprint race as we come up to nearly 1 to go, I believe.
Yeah, and that battle for second has let Richie Stanaway, who we haven't really talked about much, running 3rd in that 33 truck. He is now closing in on this battle for second, so he could be a factor for second place here any second, Tim.
Stanaway could very well pull off second if something happens in front of him. We're on the final lap down the bank straightaway. McCumbee leads. It's Larson, Van Gisbergen, and Stanaway for position at number 2. Working up through 3 and 4, the final set of corners, and Chad McCumbee come to victory at Iowa and win the first leg of the iRacing Pro Race of Champions. Kyle Larson holds on for second. Van Gisbergen, Stanaway, and the Sprint Cup champ Brad Keselowski comes home in 5th. And guys, don't count out that guy that finished 6th. Brandon Davis won this race 1 season ago. He's looking to get $2,500 for his charity. And 6th place with those guys that are in front of him that have the road prowess. Yeah, he might need a little bit more, man. But we never know what's going to happen here in Watkins Glen.
Yeah, and right behind him we have Timmy Hill, Parker Kligerman, who said he held the real record in the trucks.
That's what I was thinking.
At Iowa, I'm just happy to finish. Felt that he was going to be stronger at Watkins Glen in the Mazda. So looking forward to seeing what he can do as a he's a road racer, and I've seen him actually sim race road race, and he's really good. So looking forward to the next race. Great race here. Lots of disappointed guys. I'm sure we had 18 guys finish on the lead lap, so that meant
good race, guys.
Lots didn't finish.
That was quite a fluff race and
Good race,
exhilarating. I believe we're just about to line up some drivers for
That's a lot of fun, guys. Thank you.
As Darren, I believe, is trying to wrangle up our winner. Let's go through the top 10. It was Chad McCumbee taking away the victory. Kyle Larson comes home in second. Shane Van Gisbergen in third. Richie Stanaway fourth. Brad Keselowski comes home in fifth. Brandon Davis sixth. Timmy Hill in seventh. Parker Kligerman eighth. Ryan Preece in ninth. And look who slipped into the top 10. Carl Edwards comes home in position number 10. Hand, Osborne, Self, Halliday, Wilson, Coulthard, Cicero, Westbrook, Gurney, and Hopwood complete your top 20 guys, and the top 18 finished on the lead lap. Gurney was the first one lap down. So let's step away here for just a few moments' time, get the batteries recharged, and we'll go at it left and right. Watkins Glen International, 10 laps coming up, some open qualifying to watch as well. This is going to be exciting, guys. Don't go away. The iRacing Pro Racer Champions coming up after this. Second race coming up, or second half coming up for the iRacing Pro Racer Champions. If you're just joining us, you missed a heck of a race at the Iowa Speedway. We're going to show you some highlights here of this race as we go through, and there's been some exciting racing in that one, and the battle for fifth, absolutely amazing. And I think we're going to hear in a few moments from FK2 involving one of the wrecks, and you know there's some smack talk going on here. We haven't heard a whole lot in the server, guys, but there's definitely some smack talk going on amongst these drivers.
Well, although they've got their racing careers, they've got a lot on the line here, a lot of reputation to prove for themselves, because, they're competitive guys, so of course they're going to talk each other up and talk each other down.
Yeah, no question about it, Chris, and we heard it here with Parker, and FK2 wants to come in here and talk a little trash, but what happened there early on there to Frank, Tim?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure we're going to find out. FK2 is with us now. Frank, what happened there?
Oh, I don't know. Just racing really hard there pretty early in the race. But, me and Timmy got together. I thought I gave him enough room, but kind of hard to tell when you only got a virtual spotter. So, but I'm pretty excited for the second race. My road racing skills are very subpar, so this will be really exciting.
Yeah, we were talking to Parker a little bit earlier, and I know you guys were talking back and forth of who's going to beat who at what racetrack, a little bit more smack talk going on there, and Parker got the upper hand on you at the oval track as we get ready to head to Watkins Glen. That's subpar. Do you think you can turn into something there, maybe if you dodge a couple of wrecks?
I think all these guys should give us a handicap, a lap or something here for us non-road racers. But Parker's really fast here. He was really fast when we were practicing, and I don't know. Only time will tell. As you can see, you can get taken out pretty easy really early in the race and kind of end your day.
Now, you were in this here last year at Watkins Glen, the Mazda MX-5. Obviously, we've had some new builds to iRacing. What's really changed in a year with this MX-5 car compared to last season's 2011 iRacing Pro Racer Champions?
I feel like feels like we're not shifting near as much. Seems like we only use 4th and 5th gear right now, and it feels like the braking has been a lot improved. So that was the biggest adjustment, is you can really attack the turns, and the car doesn't get loose under braking, and then you shift once and you're off again. So gonna be pretty interesting here.
I told these guys a story about you taking me for a ride around Riverside International Speedway, so I know you can do the left-hand turns. The right-hand turns are coming up, right?
Yeah, maybe if we ran the opposite way at Watkins Glen, I'd have a better shot instead of just 3 left-hand turns.
Well, we'll see how it goes. We'll let you get some qualifying in here. We wish you all the best, and we might talk to you in Victory Lane.
Thanks, bud. We'll give him heck.
That's Frank Himmel II as he ends up going out to do some practice. We'll see if we can't catch up with Timmy Hill here as well. FK2 was talking about that wreck there. What happened in that wreck at Iowa?
On the restart there, Frank, it was, as you were saying, he gave me plenty of room, but I got loose on the bottom, went up the hill, and basically I just took Frank out. That's completely my fault, and ruined his night. It hurt my right front of my truck. It just hurt us both. It's a shame it happened, but I apologize to him. But otherwise, I felt like it's great racing out there, and I do apologize to Frank. That was all my fault. Just got loose on the bottom, went up the hill, and got contact there. But unfortunately, we finished 7th, but a lot of good racing out there.
I know Frank's in here. I know he'll likely chime in here at any time, but Watkins Glen's coming up here, Tim. What do you expect out of Watkins Glen? You were here last year, and I'll ask you the same question that I did to Frank. What can you take from last year's experience with these drivers to possibly work in your favor for Watkins Glen tonight?
7th place is only mediocre, but judging off last year's race, I think a couple of people got in the wreck early. I know Scott Speed was fast, he got in the wreck early, and so is Josh Wise and all these guys. I know that Watkins Glen's a tough race, especially for guys that don't race them as often, and anything can happen on the road course. So 7th is only mediocre, but I think just if I can finish the race and not tear the car up, I think may still have a shot at it.
Now, I know you made a couple of starts in the Sprint Cup Series this season. I want to go back to that battle that you had at Iowa. You're racing with Brad Keselowski. You're racing with guys that you race with every week. Parker Kligerman was in there as well. But how cool is it to race with a guy like Ron Capps, who only goes in straight lines, or Alex Gurney, who races road racing for a living? How cool is it to race these guys with different disciplines?
It's awesome, actually. You never get to race these guys, and to come out here in iRacing, which is the iRacing simulator is great. You get to get the great feel of the cars on iRacing, but to get to race these guys you never raced with before is interesting. You get to learn how they race. They got different techniques, but you learn a lot from them, and try to find out who's better.
Any final thoughts here before we let you go qualify?
Just tell you what, I apologize to Frank there, but I look forward to having another great race here. It's going to be exciting for sure, and you never know what's going to happen here at Watkins Glen.
We'll let you get at it. That's Timmy Hill as he gets ready to head into the server and do some qualifying laps here. And guys, qualifying is underway. Darren and Chris, I'll let you guys come in here. What are you seeing throughout the first 5.5 minutes of qualifying here?
So far, we got Chad McCumbee, who just won that race at Iowa, leading the way with a 126.9. Michael Self, 127.853. And Carl Edwards running third right now in qualifying with a 129.092. Fast laps, definitely going to be in the 126 range. Saw some of these guys practicing earlier, and that looked to be, 127, 126 seemed to be fast. So it looks like that's going to be the times to beat as far as qualifying here, Chris.
Yeah, certainly so. The low 126s, I'd estimate, would be where pole position is going to be for this race. I mean, the thing is, because it's an open qualifying session, we're going to see drivers trying to take advantage of the draft. So that's going to be crucial. Finding a car where you've got just the right amount of distance that you can get that toe going along the straight and then pick up the time. I mean, because when you think about it, when we come to the end of this race, we're going to be crowning a new 2012 iRacing Pro Race of Champion, and they'll be taking away $2,500 to give to the charity of their choice. And we've seen the excitement at Iowa. I'm sure it's going to be just as intense here. And I mean, last year,
Go ahead,
it was
Chad.
Brandon Davis who claimed a second place here and went on to win the prize with 2 second places. So it's going to be amazing to see if he can actually pull something
Making me
out
feel
of the bag
bad about myself. I ought to at least figure out how you're doing it.
And as we get ready to go racing here, these drivers are on the racetrack for their qualifying segment. Before we do really get into the qualifying or covering qualifying, we want to give you a little bit of a sneak peek video. One of the new content pieces here on iRacing is the brand new McLaren. Guys, I can't wait to see this. We're going to roll this video now to preview the McLaren, which I believe is coming out here within the next week or two. Let's take a look at this.
Go there, Spencer. Go right, go right, go right.
That work for you?
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Welcome back to iRacing Live and our coverage of the iRacing Pro Race of Champions. About halfway through the qualifying session here, guys. 11 minutes has elapsed to the 20. And the one thing I'm seeing here, you look at the top of the board, Richie Stanaway is on top. He currently sits in position number 4 in the standings. But with this point system that we are running, it's the NASCAR point system. 43 points for winning, 42 for second. They're on back. No points for leading laps tonight, no points for leading the most laps. So it is what it is. Stanaway essentially has to beat Chad McCumbee by 4 positions to have a shot at winning this thing and make sure that Kyle Larson and Shane Van Gisbergen aren't there as well. But Chad McCumbee right now, he's in probably the best seat in the house because he's running second in qualifying. Your top qualifying time now is Shane Van Gisbergen goes to the top of the board at a 1:26.508. Those top 3 that are up there now were quick at Iowa and the Oval.
Yeah, they sure were, and it's a different look to that top 10 overall, though. We got Alex Gurney sitting in 6th, Peter Dempsey 7th, Joe Osborne 8th, so definitely got some road racers mixed into this bunch. And Van Gisbergen, like we had mentioned, road racer, also did well in that first race. Battling there. Where did he finish? 3rd, Tim?
Yeah, Shane was up there. He finished in position number 3. Kyle Larson was 2nd, and I know Larson was on here earlier practicing for this race, and I'm looking down here. I don't think Kyle Larson has turned a lap. Check that, he has. 23rd quick. He's at the bottom of the board right now at a 1:37. His lap that he recorded was 11 seconds off the pace, and I was talking to these guys. I said, what do you really need to turn here to be competitive? And they said if you can turn 1:26s, get down there, hot lap it for 10 laps, you might be fine, just as long as those tires don't go away on you in those 10 laps.
I tell you what, we'd like to highlight. I see that Alex Gurney there is running in 6th position now. Earlier this week, in an interview, he said, I quote, "I can't wait to beat my fellow pro racers to a pulp." So really, he's going to be showing his mettle, I think, in this this race at Watkins Glen in this 10-lap sprint. It's going to be amazing to see what he pulls out the bag. Because I know he didn't have a great result, I think you can confirm to us, in the oval race at Iowa just a few minutes ago. So he's really got to pull something special out the bag.
Well, and he's definitely a road racer that can do it. I mean, Alex is definitely an accomplished racer running in the Grand Am Series, and looking good with a 1:27.2 right now, sitting in 6th spot. As we're taking a look at Simonson, who's sitting in the 4th spot, and Dempsey sitting in the 5th spot. So these guys are running low 27s. So some of those guys that were fast over on the oval side, Brad Keselowski sitting at 25th with a 1:32. As we take a look at Alex Gurney right now, going across the line, 1:27.2 is his fast lap. Here's Brad Keselowski, like I said, kind of struggling here on the roadside. Oh, there's a car spins right in front of him. But, yeah, Brad not looking too good here on the roadside.
Well, I had the opportunity to watch Benny Simonson in practice earlier today. He was hitting mid-126s. I believe he hit a 1:26.4. Now, if he can rekindle that for this race, he's looking that he could set a pole position time.
Hey guys, want to talk about something that Chris mentioned before we went on with the oval race. See if we can't get a camera on the 32 of Richie Stanaway and look at the back bumper. That is a black stripe. If you're new to iRacing, each of the licensing systems has a different color for the license. The black stripe is what everybody is coveted for. It's either the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship or NASCAR iRacing Pro Series on the oval side, or it's the Grand Prix World Championship on the roadside, and Stanaway has one of those black stripes, and I know, Chris, you can probably allude to it a little bit more, but he's trying to be one of the top 50 sim racers in the world, as well as being one of the best real racers in the world when it comes to turning right and left.
Yeah, certainly. As I say, he runs in the Formula Renault series in real life, but he's also at the moment competing in the iRacing Pro Road Series. Now, if he can finish in the top 25 in that, he will then go through to the World Championship, which is the top 50 iRacers. It's looking great for the guy at the moment. He's just recently taken 2 wins, Phillip Island being the last one he took last weekend, and he's looking very strong. He's 3rd in the championship, only 1 point away from the leaders. So he's actually looking like a championship favourite.
Matter of fact, we're watching Alex Gurney work over Keselowski. Keselowski holding on to him, though. Brad improved his time to a 1:28.623, so 4-second improvement as he's just trying to get a feel of this for this Mazda. And Tim, you had mentioned tire wear. It's only 10 laps, and unless they are just smoking the tires, in the corners, I got a feeling those tires are going to last. As we go in car here with Gurney, is he really muscling Keselowski now?
I think it just goes to show where Keselowski wasn't lost there. The difference that the draft makes at this circuit.
And you got to keep in mind, guys, with this qualifying session is you saw a little bit of contact there. We mentioned it during the oval qualifying session. If you have a incident point or you get off track or something along those lines, as the 24 puts it in the fence in corner number 11, that's Benny Simonson. If you have one of those incident points, the lap's not going to count. So if you're thinking, if you're an oval guy, well, maybe I'll get a little bit of a bump draft down the straightaway with these Mazda MX-5s. That's going to get you an incident point, and that's not going to get you a qualifying lap. So these guys have to kind of work their way around that, master the draft, but make sure there's no contact there.
As we watch here, a 3-car battle, Carl Edwards, also the number 3 car there, and the number 20. I do notice that Richie Stanaway has gone into pole position with a 1:26.316, and now Carl Edwards now passing Jordan Taylor. I believe Jordan Taylor's on an out lap, so he's been very gentlemanly there, let him through. But Edwards there, he's leading a chain of 3 cars here. He's got Keselowski behind him, and also the number 2 car.
Yeah, Edwards just went off track there as Keselowski's now taking a look at. Oh, Edwards goes around into the wall. These lap times are ended up, though, guys. We got, Chris just mentioned 1:26.316 with Stanaway on the pole, but all the way down to 18th, Chris Diamond with a 1:27.998. So they're, a little over a second apart, all the way down to 18th spot, and some of these guys are getting faster. We got McCumbee, who's sitting up front, just sitting behind Keselowski and can't pass him. So as we're watching this battle right now, McCumbee trying to bump draft him.
Okay, so we're now following Benny Simonson, who's in 4th place now with a 1:27.016. We're back now with Keselowski, McCumbee, and I believe that's Jordan Taylor as well. As you wouldn't believe this is a qualifying session. They're racing.
Yeah, they are definitely going at it.
And it's a great thing about these cars, guys, with these MX-5s. You can really push these things around. You can really throw them into the corner, and it's a fun car to drive. And when you come on the iRacing service, if you're new to iRacing.com, this is the road car that you start with. So you can come on to iRacing.com, get signed up. Makes a great holiday gift, by the way. You can come on and end up racing with this car, and you might end up seeing some of these guys in a race server as you work your way up on the iRacing ranks.
Well, you know what, Tim? Looking at a lot of these license stripes, like you mentioned, Stanaway, pro driver. I've seen green, blue stripes, and if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, that's their license level here on the iRacing service. So that means they're racing. I mean, if you don't race, you're not going to advance in the service. So looks like a lot of these guys are definitely doing some iRacing. So there is a good chance you could meet up with them on the iRacing service. Last couple seconds of qualifying winding down here.
Sure, so that means any people who are on a lap now, they've got a chance to finish it and take the checkered. But if they haven't started a lap, they're not going to get another one in. So we're going to have to see where this grid sets in just a minute.
You're watching Peter Dempsey here as he's really working it. Kligerman right behind him. I know Parker said he was hoping to look good here. Low 27, 1:27.483 for Parker Kligerman's first, or I should say his qualifying lap. And Peter Dempsey with a 1:27.277. Both these guys trying to improve on that. Their final run here as they're finishing out their lap here at Watkins Glen.
But Dempsey's coming around the last corner there. Did he take a bit too much curb? Is that going to affect him? Maybe it's discounted his lap. We're going to have to see when he crosses the finish line.
And guys, in the last moment of qualifying, Shane Van Gisbergen, top of the board, 126.301. Peter Dempsey's lap, as you mentioned, didn't get recorded, but Kligerman goes to position number 7 with a 127.16. So Kligerman will start P7. That's going to be one to watch. Josh Wise was very quick in practice, and the one thing that we mentioned is consistently turning in those quick laps, guys. Josh Wise was really consistent in the low 127s. He got some high 126s there as well, I noticed in practice as well. So Josh Wise might be one to watch here as we go racing.
Well, the thing is, just there, in the very last lap that he put in, Shane Van Gisbergen, he actually posted the pole position time of 126.301. So round about 100th faster than Richie Stanaway.
Yeah, and these guys are going to grid now, so we got 30 cars going to be lining up here. This is they are going to pace. So we're going to have one lap of pacing, and then they're going to pace car's going to go off. Then they're going to take the green flag. So we're going to have a moment to tell you who's where. Shane Van Gisbergen on the front row with Richie Stanaway. Both of those guys, like Chris just mentioned, running 126.3s, followed by Chad McCumbee in third and Benny Simonson running in fourth.
Yeah, Josh Wise coming in there fifth with a 127.0 as well. 3 thousandths of a second behind him is Carl Larson. Then Parker Kligerman 7th. Jordan Taylor's going to be 8th. Peter Dempsey 9th. And 10th, Alex Gurney.
Guys, when you look back here from 11th to 15th, you see guys like Michael Self, Matthew Halliday, Timmy Hill, Brandon Davis. If he wants to defend his championship in this race, got a long way to go in 14th.
Hey, Pompelli, what are you doing back here?
FK2 running 16th, just had him in the booth. Carl Edwards 17th, Chris Diamond 18th, Ryan Priest 19th, and Fabian Coulthard running 20th.
It's so tough for me to drive.
And
Yeah, me too.
so we have Alms regular Richard Westbrook 21st.
I think I'm arrow loose. Does my wing look messed up in the rear?
I don't know. I spent most of the time.
So we see Joey Hand and Spencer Pumpanelli there having a chat across the radio.
And looking back here, 21st, Richard Westbrook, Dominic Cicero, Brad Keselowski is going to start his car in 23rd place. How about Bruno Junqueira starting back in position number 24 and completing your top 25, guys? It's Joey Hand, and he'll be looking to hold a hot hand to get up to the front of this field.
Sorry, buddy. There, just rounding out the grid there. Spencer Pumpanelli's going to be 26th, Trevor Hopwood 27th, Adam Burrows 28th. Ron Capps 29th, and not setting a time, Stephen Wilson, he's going to be at the very back of the grid. He's going to be our 30th driver.
Yeah, we've got the guys going through the bus stop now, following the pace car. Big old Mustang iRacing pace car out there. And Chad McCumbee looking good to take all this, and just got word somebody went off back there. But up front, everything's looking good. These guys are side by side and going to be starting to abreast, so turn one's going to be interesting with all these cars, isn't it, Tim?
Yeah, I think this one might be just a little bit hairy going down into corner number 1, and we saw it last year with the standing start. It's a little bit different as we got a wreck on the back. Joey Hand is around, and I think there's one or two others. 36 is also involved in this one on the pace lap. The 36 is Adam Burrows, so at least a couple of cars are going to be stacked up as they try to get going again. Dominic Cicero is there as well as we work through the final couple of corners. We get ready to go racing here at Watkins Glen International. Chris, why don't you bring us to green here?
Okay, well, the pace car pulls off. It's going to be Chad McCumbee. It's going to be Richie Stanaway leading us off with Van Gisbergen starting alongside him. We're waiting for the green flag. Green flag is go, and we are off for the second race of the iRacing Pro Championship.
These guys already go single file. Oh, we got cars into the wall at the start-finish line. Looks like Alex Gurney. Somebody is... cars are flying everywhere at the start-finish line.
Oh, that's
big
a big
mess. More cars off in turn 1. Cars going off, coming up the S's.
And Benny Simonson there, he got wide through turn 1, lost the back, went into the wall, came back onto the track, took a couple of cars with him as well.
And he's definitely done for the day as we watch Chad McCumbee in third. He's entered the outer loop for the first time. We're getting word that a bunch of cars are piled up in the back of the pack too. Van Gisbergen leads the way over Stanaway here though.
And these two, they're nose to tail starting off here. Stanaway, he's not letting Van Gisberg. He's not letting him get away, is he? He's right on his tail. Is he going to look for an opportunity coming into the penultimate corner? Oh no, it's too fast for him. But as they come up to the braking zone at the final turn, maybe he's going to find his chance.
And guys, looking through here, I think Ian Bushing is going to have his hands full trying to look at these replays of all these incidents that happened on lap number 1. But lap number 1 for the leaders just completed here. Stanaway is chasing your leader, Shane Van Gisbergen. Chad McCumbee third, Kyle Larson, and now Parker Kligerman complete your top 5 as you ride on board with Shane Van Gisbergen looking back at his competition. And the one thing I'm noticing here, Darren and Chris, very, very smooth for your leader, Shane Van Gisbergen, was very smooth on the oval side as well. He's looking to pick up the big championship here. And
it looked like to me as well, McCumbee, he's got to run. He's got that draft. He's going to be looking for a chance going through the bus stop here to get the second position off Stanaway, although they are both picking up a draft now off the gears.
Shane Van Gisbergen wants none of this, though. He's kind of blocking here going into the inner loop. Definitely has the position and puts a little space between himself and Stanaway as Stanaway and McCumbee going on board with McCumbee as he tries to go for Richie Stanaway here.
Oh, this is so action-packed. We've had such a dramatic start, but we're on board with McCumbee as he tries to chase down Stanaway.
Yeah, and this is just a sprint race, Tim. You know, the 10 laps here. We already got one in the books, actually, coming up on the second lap, and this is really a sprint race. So these guys got to get it done quick and get up front.
And you saw on the replay there, Brad Keselowski going through one of the wrecks in the opening lap of this race. As we come up 2 laps completed of the 10, a lot of drivers now coming off pit road with repairs. I see Hopwood starting to roll there from pit road as the leaders work their way past. As McCumbee runs in position number 3, he has a B stripe in this series, so you know what he is thinking when he sees that black stripe in front of him.
On track at the same time.
Well, this is going to get interesting because the leaders are coming up to these cars who have pit and taken repairs, and they're going to have to deal with lap traffic. And this could be an opportunity for Stanaway or McCumbee to make up places.
Well, and back I can see peeking back there, running in 5th, Parker Kligerman, who we talked about at the top of the show, who felt like he was going to have a good run, and looks like he is. If these guys keep battling here for 4th, as they're going in the inner loop, almost touch.
Oh, and Stanaway had a run there going into the bus stop, but that was great defending there by the gears. I'm not sure exactly how he'd done it. His line was wrong, but he was able to hold Stanaway.
These guys are coming up on this lap traffic, so this is going to definitely play into this battle. 4-car train here. And Dominic Cicero pulls over for him.
And looking at this one here, guys, you mentioned the 4-car train right now as they bob and weave their way through some of this lap traffic as Kyle Larson makes his way past. I know Kligerman was trying to get Kyle Larson to fall back a little bit and try to do a little bit of drafting here, but I don't think Kyle Larson's having any of it. He wants this to be a 4-car battle and not a 5.
Stanaway taking a look. For Van Gisbergen, I'm saying that's on a lap car. Oh! Yeah, lap car's definitely coming into play here.
Yeah, the lap car of Burrows there. Oh, Stanaway's on the radio. He's asking, what you up to, Burrows? What you playing at? I'm racing here for the lead here. You're getting in the way. I mean, this is intense stuff. Stanaway, he wants that position. He wants to take away that lead.
Adam Burrows being a race car, he doesn't want to let up. He just wants to stay in this battle with the guys up front as we watch McCumbee here trying to get back into the battle with Stanaway and Van Gisbergen. Car off. Kyle Larson almost gets into that
And that is Bruno Junqueira off the racetrack there, as you saw it. Shane Van Gisbergen leading this race. Stanaway, McCumbee, Larson, your top 4. Kligerman back there in 5th as well. And keep in mind, these top 4 guys, they're not only battling for the race win here. It's nice to win the race, but you also want to win a championship here. Keep in mind, Van Gisbergen won the Watkins Glen portion 1 season ago. He's trying to be the only driver to win 2 road sides of the iRacing Pro Racer Champions, but I'm sure he wants that championship to go with it too.
Well, maybe you could let us know, Tim. How would it stand where it is at the moment? If McCumbee came in 3rd, would he be taking the crown?
Looking at it here, Kyle Larson is 2nd in the standings. Shane Van Gisbergen is 3rd in the standings. So I believe it might very well be a tie between 1st and 2nd right now in the standings. So that Stanaway car could very well mean the difference between the championship for Van Gisbergen and McCumbee. But keep in mind, guys, Stanaway also involved in this championship. P4 coming into this one.
McCumbee, we just watched as he's taking a look at the bumper of Stanaway right now. All 3 guys in the battle for 1st.
This could get ugly through the bus stop. Let's see if they can hold it together. Stanaway and Gisbergen, oh, they're side by side, and Stanaway makes it stick. What a move.
What a great pass. And McCumbee just hanging on there behind him, just hoping something happens. Licking his chops now. He's going to take a look and try to make a pass on Van Gisbergen.
Well, if McCumbee can make this stick past the Giz, then he will take the crown. He will be the iRacing Pro Race of Champions champion.
Yeah, if he finishes the way it is right now, he's looking at that championship. We got 1 car stopped there in the middle of the track, and we got 1 more off spinning around. As the leaders are going to dodge this here. I know Parker Kligerman went off as well, as we are halfway. 5 laps completed, 5 laps to go. Your leaders dodging everything so far. Van Gisbergen looking to the outside of Stanaway, as Stanaway will lead his first lap of this iRacing Pro Race of Champions.
Oh, and he squeezed it across there.
We had an extra chicane back there just sitting there. Carl Edwards goes wide for these guys. Always the gentleman racer, Carl Edwards.
Now, as they come up through the S's here, I mean, Gisbergen, he's going to be looking to get a run. He's going to look to get that draft. As you can see, he's got that draft. He's up to speed. It's going to be, is he going to winning to try and make a pass at the bus stop the way Stanaway did on the previous lap? That's amazing. I believe we've got Brad Keselowski, who will be showing in the picture-in-picture there. He's now moved his way up to 6th spot. And just ahead of him is Chris Diamond, who's also made great moves. He started in 18th position. He's now 5th.
Yeah, Timmy Hill was right there as well behind Keselowski. So those guys were able to dodge the bullet there on the start and make their way up into 6th. So Brad Keselowski having a great day today, as we're back up front with Stanaway, who's got the lead over Van Gisbergen, as they're going to finish another lap, and things are winding down here. We're past the halfway mark, and we got 4 to go.
As we have 4 laps to go here, guys, you got to keep in mind Shane Van Gisbergen, I'm sure, is thinking championship. He's got Stanaway right where he wants him right now. Great run in corner number 1 for Van Gisbergen. Pulls right up to Stanaway's back bumper. He's got to pass Stanaway to have a chance at winning this iRacing Pro Race of Champions. It's just a matter of when he does it as he goes through the S's. This is getting exciting up in front. Chad McCumbee might be comfortable back there in 3rd if something happens to these top 2.
Well, McCumbie's in the box seat, but now we're on board, or we're just following there. Van Gisbergen, he is now side by side. He's going to try and take the outside line going into the entry of the bus stop, the way Stanaway done it a couple of laps ago. And it looks like he got a monster bit of pace in there. As you see, Stanaway take lots of curve there, go wide. McCumbee capitalises onto it. He moves into 2nd. Stanaway drops down 2 places. He's now in 3rd position.
Stanaway could have got a slowdown penalty for that, and here comes McCumbee now taking a look at Van Gisbergen. McCumbee wants this championship.
And they're side by side. They come into the penultimate corner, but Van Gisbergen, he's got the line. He's got it nailed.
So does McCumbie's got it.
Oh, he's got it on the final corner. He's taking it. Can Gisbergen, can he get a run now, as he had a better outside line there? He's going to now try and going to get him on the inside line. These guys, it's been, 2-3 corners now they've been going side by side.
And Van Gisbergen led that lap, and this is allowing Stanaway to get right back into this battle. 3 laps to go. McCumbee taking a look. Oh!
Oh, and he closed the door there. This is not over by a long shot. So we've got in picture here, we've got Ron Capps here, who's running in 10th place. That's been a great run by our late entrants to the race today.
Yeah, and Ron from the drag racing side, guy that can go, that drives straight lines, can really turn here. And these guys battling for the lead again. Van Gisbergen back up front now.
Oh, and he made a perfect execution there of the bus stop there.
And guys, in front of the leaders right off is Alex Gurney, so tough break for Gurney as he tries to maintain a lead lap position. He's obviously going to fall a lap down there. He was in 12th before that off. Keep in mind as well, Brandon Davis more than likely going to lose this championship here. He won last season. He's running right now in position number 9, so nothing to shake a stick at. 2 top 10 finishes here if he can hold on to it.
Yeah, certainly it's nothing to be sniffed at. That's a great performance against such a competitive field. But at the front here, we can see the door panel on Stanaway's on his car has been scratched up. And as we watch picture in picture, Timmy Hill, who's running in 7th place at the moment, who's battling with Brad Kozlowski.
And guys, 2 laps to go. I gotta take my hat off to iRacing for assembling this incredible group of drivers. You know, I am honored to be here with you guys in the booth announcing this incredible race, man. It doesn't get better than this.
Well, just watching Van Gisbergen there, taking a super wide line through turn 1. I'm sure he's going to have the groundskeepers of Watkins Glen complaining if he keeps racing like that.
And there's been some fantastic battles all over this racetrack. You mentioned Keselowski and Hill. They had magnets on each other in the oval races. You look at that battle for a second as well. McCumbee has to defend over Stanaway. Stanaway is on the throttle and looking for something here, guys. When they come back across the stripe, 1 to go.
This is allowing Van Gisbergen to stretch his legs against these guys, to give them some breathing room against these guys. Stanaway taking a look.
Alright, he's coming up to the penultimate corner. Oh, there's contact, McCumbee holds it together though, but Stanaway takes the 2nd position from him.
That was awesome. What a great bit of driving by McCumbee. He wants this championship bad. He's going to hold on to 3rd, and now it's stretching out. White flag as Shane Van Gisbergen is trying to win again here at the Glen.
Well, that's played straight into his hands there. So the way it stands at the moment, we're going to have to do some super massive calculations because it comes down to, we're not sure exactly how it'll be worked out. If Van Gisbergen wins and it stays and McCumbee stays in 3rd, they'll be tied.
And guys, they would each have a win and a 3rd place finish, so we'll see how that comes down to. Kyle Larson, if he can get up here to Chad McCumbee, he'll be able to take away that spot and we wouldn't have a tie, but Kyle Larson's got a long way to go in a short time to get there to Chad McCumbee as they work through the bus stop on the final lap. Van Gisbergen looks to have this locked up, and the calculators are smoking to see who's going to win that 2,500.
Stanaway's trying his best to make a battle out of it for 1st, and if he took that position away, then that could change things. But Van Gisbergen, I don't think he's going to have any of that. He's looking pretty good. Couple car length right there. A couple cars coming up that are a lap down. Shouldn't affect this battle.
Yeah, and it looks like Van Gisbergen, he's going to have this sewed up. He's going to take it round the last corner, keep it nice and smooth. Stanaway doesn't look like it's close enough. So it looks like Shane Van Gisbergen takes the 2nd round of the iRacing Pro Championship.
Man, Stanaway sure made it a run though. 1/10 of a second behind him. Chad McCumbee 3rd, Kyle Larson 4th. Great run for these guys up front.
And you look at the battle for 6th coming up. Brad Keselowski is going to win this battle over Timmy Hill, but man, it wasn't without an effort by Timmy Hill. Hill will finish in 7th as he chases Brad K down to the line. And those guys not only put on a show here at Watkins Glen, at Iowa they did it as well as Brad K gets that thing sideways, and he has contact after the checkers with Timmy.
So I guess we're going to have to wait to hear from iRacing officials to find out what's going to happen is I believe the scores are going to be tied as to who's going to be the win. And as it works out, I believe they both got a first place and a third place finish. So we're going to have to work out how it's going to be done. So hopefully we'll get some news on that for you soon.
Yeah, maybe they'll do it by qualifying, but we'll hopefully get the word for you guys and let you know.
But I've got to say that was a spectacular, breathtaking race.
Let's step away for just a few moments' time as we get set up to do some interviews here with the iRacing Pro Race of Champions drivers, and we'll try to figure out who's got the top prize of $2,500 for their charity. Don't go away. Welcome back to the iRacing Pro Race of Champions, and we are getting ready to talk to some of these drivers. And guys, we're first going to talk to Chad McCumbee. who is waiting to see who ends up winning this thing. Let's see if we can't get a hold of Chad McCumbee here. Chad McCumbee, it's Tim Terry from iRacing Live. Great run in the Oval. Let's talk about the Oval first. Come home with the victory there. Pretty exciting race.
Yeah, you know, I knew qualifying was going to be the big thing there. I had run a couple fixed races trying to get ready, and it was really hard to work through the field. So did a lot of qualifying runs, and it worked out good.
We head over to the road racing side at Watkins Glen International, and what a great show you, Shane, and Richie put on at the end of that race. Talk about 10 laps and trying to maybe master the draft here to try to get by those guys near the finish.
Yeah, you know, I was very fortunate to run with CJ Wilson Racing in Continental Tire ST, and we actually ran a Mazda MX-5 with our ModSpace colors. So last year I wasn't very good on the road course, and this year I at least could keep up. And my whole plan was really to stay in third, but with those guys got together, got me up to second. It wasn't really what I wanted. I wanted to sit there in third and see, let them battle it out, and maybe I could sneak a win out of it. But I hit the daggone grass with going into the second to last corner and got messed up there and had a little damage on that last lap. But no, that was a lot of fun. These things draft awesome. Is exactly how they are in real life.
And we're just being told by the iRacing officials that when it comes down to it, it was going to be a tiebreaker for wins when it came to points. Tiebreaker for wins, and then tiebreakers down on the line. You and Shane both had not only the same finishing in the qualifying or in the racing, also in the qualifying. Comes down to the cumulative qualifying time. Shane barely gets you there, so it's a tie. Unofficially, you're going to finish second, though, in the tiebreaker. But it was back and forth all race long between you and Shane. Any sort of words for the champion here?
No, that was awesome. You know, I knew it was going to come down to something, and I was hoping it was going to come down to laps led or something. But that's fine. I think that, you know, I really appreciate iRacing putting this on. It's a lot of fun, and I think I can almost speak for everybody in saying that everybody really enjoys doing it.
We saw you the first 2 years. You're going to be back next year to try to take this championship away, eh?
Sure. Absolutely.
Any final thoughts here before we let you go?
Now, I'd like to just thank you guys for hosting this up, and all the coverage is awesome. Sounds like we had a lot of people watching, so appreciate all the support, and check out what 2013 holds.
There you go. That's Chad McCumbee finishing in second in the iRacing Pro Racing Champions. We're going to slide over here and talk to Ron Capps, another driver who ran this race last season. A little bit of experience helps you here in this race this evening. Ron, I know you had an exciting race at Watkins Glen here.
Yeah, for me, top 10's awesome. It was, you know, just racing with these guys. You look down the list, and I've had the luxury of racing Tony Stewart's Prelude every year, and being, you know, next to those guys at that race is insane. But to look at, you know, running next to Frank Kimmel and all these guys that in the Oval race that do it for a living, you know, Carl Edwards and everybody, Brad. That was fun, but this race was it was almost a battle of attrition. You almost had to do some dodging, and I was 10th, and I was starting to drive with my mirrors, and I almost blew it in a little chicane, but I saved it and brought home a 10th, so it was fun.
And I know you had a little bit of a tough sled on the Oval side as well. Iowa got a little hairy in the first couple of laps as well.
Well, you know me. I'm used to 320 miles an hour and pulling parachutes, so went down to turn one and saw some puffs of smoke, and I was looking for the parachutes to slow down. But yeah, it was fun. I knew something was going to happen if you know, it was too many cars going in too tight of turns at Iowa, and too many guys got knocked out. Same thing with Watkins. Cool was to have these guys get back in their cars and come back out of the pit area and come flying by you, the guys that were really good. And then I was able to kind of catch a line a little bit before they checked out. So I just tried to go along and just finish the best I could. So top 10 for me, believe me, is awesome.
Now, I notice you have the D license here on the road side of iRacing. How much iRacing do you do throughout the year?
Man, I don't get on as much as I want. I'm sure everybody will tell you that on here, but as much as if I'm home for a couple of days, I'm on it, and and I'm just on trying to, you know, for me, it's keep up my hand-eye coordination and just get a feel for the car. Because what I do for a living with the funny cars, you know, you steer with your butt as well, and you're going 300 miles an hour, and you just try to keep the thing straight and in the groove. So it helps me in that respect. It's so realistic that what the cool part is for me is talking to the other drivers that actually do these cars for a living, and they tell you how realistic it is. So anybody watching at home, I mean, it's an amazing thing to drive.
Now, I know you've been involved in the first 2 iRacing Pro Racer Champions. We go to year 3. We got a championship up our sleeve next season, right?
Man, I hope so. We finished the closest margin in history, lost by 2 points to my teammate Jack Beckman. So we got everybody back at Napa Auto Parts, and we're going to have a great season. We start testing in January, and it's going to be a fun season for me.
Good to hear. Any final thoughts before we let you go here this evening?
No, I just I hope I can practice a little more before next time. Not that it's going to help me. It will probably hurt me, if anything, but I think if we spread the word a little more to some of these other drivers, we'll get more guys involved in this, and you're going to start having to cut guys out of it. So I'm glad I'm in the deal, at least for now. But thanks again for doing this. This is a great time, and I know with the off-season, everybody gets a little antsy, wanting to get behind the wheel or something. So this kind of brought back those juices that you get in the back of your tongue when you're racing, so it was neat.
You're a seasoned veteran at this now, though. You have a leg up on those new guys they bring in, right?
Yeah, well, I was getting text messages from Kyle Larson via a friend telling me to get my butt in gear and pick up the pace. So I was being called out before the Iowa race even started, so that was during practice. So all of a sudden I was getting a little antsy, you know, and I thought, man, I'm starting to get my left leg jumping a little bit, and I thought, man, this is what it's like, you know, when you get in the trenches here racing a real car. So it was funny how I really felt like I was in an actual race. So, you know, you just don't want to get beat by this. You look at the list of guys behind me that I beat, whether they wrecked or not, it's still something I'm pretty proud of.
You certainly put on a great show here this evening, Ron. Congratulations on this evening, and all the best in 2013.
Thanks, man.
So that's Ron Capps, and he's one of those drivers, guys, that's been here the last 2 seasons. Great guy to talk to, and he's, as we mentioned, one of those seasoned veterans, I guess, for next season. He'll have something for the rest of these guys, I'm sure of it. As we look at some of the clips here, and as we mentioned in the replay with or the interview with Chad McCumbee, it came down to ties. It came down to not only finishing position, it came down to qualifying position, and then it came down to cumulative qualifying time. And when we look at it, that's going to be your tiebreaker. That shows something about the talent here, not only on iRacing, but throughout this service and throughout the world of motorsports. And Ron mentioned it as well. You bring all these guys together, it's almost like IROC used to be when it comes to a race of this caliber.
You're right, Tim, and you gotta love it, man. These guys really all took this seriously, and you know, and it's great to see them, you know, all out there battling and having a great time. And you know, that finish at the line between Van Gisbergen and Stenaway was just. I'm talking like a half a foot. I mean, Stenaway made a run at the last second. We kind of missed the call there, but. What a great battle, man. That was just an awesome race. Both races were just incredible. We had door-to-door, bumper-to-bumper racing all night, and it was just a lot of fun.
And as we work through here, I know Chris was talking to Benny Simonson a little bit earlier. Chris, I know you've caught up with him now after a fantastic race here at Watkins Glen.
Well, Benny, you had a great start there. I mean, you were qualified in, what a bit, I believe it's 4th or 5th position. You were looking hot. What happened there when you came around turn 1?
Just basically had the car a little bit sideways, running a bit wide, and just had a bit of a slide, and I think the car behind me just tapped me and it just sent it into the barrier, really.
You must have been feeling confident though, because earlier in the day I'd seen you in practice. You'd been setting mid 126s, although you didn't reach that pace in qualifying. You were up there in the early stages. You were. I was tipping you to do really well. So I mean, surely you've got to be a little bit disappointed in what happened there.
Yeah, very disappointed, really. I definitely think that the pace was there to win. Really, had a 26 dead early on, but it was just really too much traffic in qualifying. I was working with Joe Osborne about towing, but it just seemed impossible to get a clean lap in. I was quite happy with P4 really. Just thinking I was in the chase, but it obviously ended in turn 1.
But saying that, I mean, you did recover. I believe you had to head into the pits, didn't you? But you came back out. You finished the race in 11th and still on the lead lap. So you must have had some fun out there.
Yeah, it's a brilliant event. I wish it was a bit more often than every year, really. Once a month, maybe. But yeah, it's just great fun, racing against all those really pro guys, and yeah, really good fun.
So I assume that when it comes round to 2013, in a year's time, and this event is hosted again by iRacing, we're going to see you taking part?
Definitely, if I get an invite, yeah, I really look forward to it. Maybe get a bit more practice in on the oval stuff, and give the NASCAR boys a run for their money on there as well.
So have you got any final thoughts to share about your race today, about the whole event today? What would you like to say?
I'd just say thanks to iRacing for putting this together. It's been great fun, all evening practicing, and yeah, just loads and loads of fun really. So yeah, thanks a lot.
Okay, well, thanks very much, Benny. Well done. I know it was a bit of a disaster at times, but still, you recovered well. You put on a great show. You put on a great drive. So well done to you, and hopefully we'll see you next year.
Thank you, Chris.
So, maybe it's time now to get our final thoughts on today's events, which have been spectacular to say the least. I mean, firstly, I've got to say congratulations to Shane Van Gisbergen. I mean, great to see him to take the crown. I mean, bad luck, unfortunately, to Chad McCumbee. It came down to a tie decision, but still a great performance by both of them to actually bring it that close to the actual end of the day.
Yeah, Chris, it is pretty amazing. It just shows you what pros these guys are. You know, it comes down to having to figure out who qualified better. You know, that's just amazing. And I know I'm personally looking forward to next year. Last year was a blast. This year was just as fun. Some great racing. What a great crowd. Tim, could you believe the who's who that showed up tonight?
It's an awesome field as it was last year, and it just keeps growing and growing. This is absolutely amazing what iRacing has done, and as well what these drivers put on. And you heard it in the voice, and you go back to Ron Capps. It's a who's who of racers from all different disciplines. He goes straight with 300 miles an hour plus. He gets to battle with Carl Edwards and Alex Gurney and guys that he really doesn't get to race with all that often. It's an awesome race put together by iRacing. If you're new to iRacing, still watching us here, head over to iRacing.com and get involved. You could be racing with guys like this, and you could very well be racing. If you're a road guy, you could be racing in the Grand Prix Series. If you're a NASCAR oval guy, you could be racing in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship if you really set your mind to it. And a lot of these guys have come up through the ranks, and guys like Nick Ottinger and Mike Conti and the rest of those guys that haven't been on the service for a long while, they get together, they get setups, they work with the team. It's just a great effort. If you're on iRacing or if you're not on iRacing, you got to get on it. It's fantastic, and these guys just put on a showcase of what iRacing can do. Once again, congratulations to Shane Van Gisbergen on the championship this season, and Chad McCumbee for coming oh so close. It came down to a triple tiebreaker. I don't think we've seen that in any sort of racing in a very long while. That's going to do it for us here this evening on iRacing Live. Stay tune to our Twitter account at PSRTV and Facebook.com/PSRTV to keep up to date on what is coming up for the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship or the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. Those will be coming up in February, and we're going to crown more champions, and $10,500 I'm sure will be on the line for both of those series. So for the whole iRacing Live crew, Zach Stanko, Ian Bushing, Chunk Johnson, Matt Racing Kid Thomas, Ilka Happel, I'm sure I'm missing a few, along with Chris Hall, Darren Ganji. Glad to work with you guys again here this evening. My name is Tim Terry, saying that we will see you next time when we say, let's go racing on iRacing Live. Keep the hammer down, and we'll see you at the track. Shane Van Gisbergen from Auckland, New Zealand currently drives for Stone Brothers Racing in the V8 Supercar Championship Series. In 66 races, Shane has 2 race wins to his name. Shane will certainly be a threat all night long, especially at Watkins Glen, as he won this race last season by holding off eventual champion Brandon Davis. Shane Van Gisbergen from Auckland, New Zealand.